Hello, I'm Jacqueline Paris and I'm the head of the International Baccalaureate programme here at the Stephen Perse Foundation. And I'm sure many of you will be considering your sixth form choices as you approach your year 11 and be thinking about what you might like to do in the sixth form. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about why you might consider the IB programme as being right for you. Now, there's lots of reasons to choose the IB, and one of the most common reasons that I hear is the ability for students to choose 6 subjects rather than 3 or 4 subjects, and the fact that you can take subjects at different levels because you can take standard levels and higher levels, so not all your subjects have to be taken to the same depth. Lots of students find that 3 subjects is quite a narrow choice, and even 4 subjects is quite a narrow choice, and lots of people would like to continue taking languages and maths and English and not just be quite so specialised in their choices. And that's obviously very possible with the IB, much more so than with A-level. There's obviously lots of new subjects as well, global politics, economics, psychology, etc. And it may be that for a new subject you're not quite so sure that you want to commit a third or a quarter of your time to a subject that you've not studied before. Well, taking one of the new subjects at SL gives you a great opportunity to get a taster for that subject without committing such a large proportion of your study to it. It may be that you want to maintain your language skills or your maths skills or your English skills but don't want to specialise in that area. And that, of course, you can do by taking those subjects as part of a bigger programme. It may be that you're really interested in some very challenging maths, but don't want to spend 50% of your time doing maths, which would be the case if you were taking A-level maths and further maths. And you're interested in challenging maths, but not to the exclusion of so much else in the curriculum. So those are the advantages of taking 6 subjects across 2 different levels. But there are other advantages too, and other things to consider. So you might consider coursework. It may be that you like the idea of coursework because it enables you to sort of cover some of the areas, not have everything left till the last minute on the exams. And all IB subjects include coursework. It's normally a minimum of 20%. Obviously for subjects like art it's much more. And that may be a reason why you might be drawn towards the IB. But actually, one of the most important reasons to choose the IB, it's not about subjects or coursework, it's actually about the broader skills that the IB brings. IB subjects are actually built around a core, and it's this core that actually makes IB students stand out from the crowd. Now, the IB core consists of the CAS programme, the extended essay, and theory of knowledge. So I'll talk about each of those a little bit in turn. But it's these 3 elements that actually are designed to enable IB students to flourish as young people and develop a range of skills which are above and beyond the purely academic. So let's go through each of them. So the CAS programme stands for Creativity, Activity and Service. And it's the part of the programme that encourages you to think about yourself and others, to stay fit and healthy in mind and body, and it encourages you to learn new skills, take up new hobbies, continue old ones, to be part of the community, both locally and globally. IB students find that the CAS programme enables them to keep going with something or to pick up something new, such as volunteering, and it makes you less inclined to put things off because it's part of the programme. You're much more inclined to do it and throw yourself into those activities. Now, the extended essay is an opportunity to research a topic that is unique to you. It enables you to demonstrate your passion and interest in something that's outside of your curriculum. You develop research, analysis, evaluation, communication skills all together through this. It's unique to you. You would choose your subject and your theme, or you would assign you a supervisor, and they would help you to undertake your academic research. You learn skills about citations and bibliographies, etc. And these are skills which are hugely valued at university for when you start doing the theses and dissertations there. Now, the theory of knowledge is actually the thread that holds the IB together. It connects all the subjects and the principles of learning. It asks questions about the connections between different subject areas. And as an IB subject, of course, IB student, you are taking subjects, maths, English, language, science, humanities, etc. So it's the connection between those. Now, I'm going to ask a question of one of our TOK teachers who can perhaps explain a little bit more better than I can about how TOK works in practice. So, Anna, can you give me some examples of how knowledge is considered in different areas and how you might explore that in your TOK lessons?
So hello, I'm Miss Kotowska and I teach psychology and also theory of knowledge. I teach psychology on the A-level programmes and the IB programmes, so I'm quite busy. So the starting point for theory of knowledge is very much to put the student at the centre. We look at our own perception of knowledge, explore our own biases and examine where they came from and how that influences us when we assess the credibility of a piece of knowledge. The course is then organised so that knowledge is split up into different areas of knowledge, such as the natural sciences, the human sciences, the arts, history and mathematics. And we would consider how we acquire and produce knowledge in each case. So, for example, in the natural sciences, we consider the contribution of the scientific method when assessing how certain we are that a finding about the natural world is true. We might ask whether we would have more confidence in a conclusion that is based on rigorous experimental testing rather than just casual observations. We would also discuss concepts such as evidence, truth and interpretation and consider the biases that might influence knowledge. When we then turn our attention to another area of knowledge, such as history, we would look at how knowledge about history is gained and interpreted and ask ourselves the same question about how certain we can be based on the evidence that we have that a piece of knowledge is true. By examining how knowledge is gained and interpreted across different areas of knowledge, we can get a feel for how different disciplines create and deal with knowledge, and so how this ultimately colours our perception of the world. Real-world examples are used to put ideas into a context, and in addition to discussion, there are various activities that students do to try and develop their critical thinking processes.
A final few thoughts about other reasons for taking the IB. The IB is a not-for-profit organisation. It's been going over 50 years and it's independent. And that means it's not been subject to grade inflation, it's not subject to government interference, it doesn't have to abide by particular rules for different countries. It's its own body. It's well respected by universities across the globe, and they very much value the skills that the IB students have through the core. It's an excellent preparation for university. And they really value this extra dimension that the students have, the self-management, the organisation skills, the fact that IB students are always willing to get involved and are always up for a challenge. Essentially, as an IB student, you'll have a different mindset. You'll think differently from the way you think now and the way you learn. You'll think differently about the world and your role in it. And I don't know of any education anywhere else that can honestly be called so life-changing. So I encourage you to investigate more. If you have any questions, please do contact me. Thank you.